At KPU, we work, study, and live in a region south of the Fraser River, which overlaps with the unceded, traditional, and ancestral lands of Kwantlen, Musqueam, Katzie, Semiahmoo, Tsawwassen, Kakite, and Coquitlam peoples. Canada is home to many Indigenous people who have lived on these lands for thousands of years. In fact, KPU campuses overlap with the unceded, meaning unsurrendered, traditional and ancestral lands of the Kwantlen, Musqueam, Katzie, Semiahmoo, Tsawwassen, Kakite, and Coquitlam peoples. Proudly sharing the name of the Kwantlen First Nation, the word Kwantlen means tireless runner and is reflected in the university's motto. Through tireless effort, knowledge, and understanding, it is important to be informed about this history and how it underlines our responsibilities at KPU. Your courses may include discussions about Indigenous peoples and their perspectives and ways of knowing. I invite you to learn more through visiting the Gathering Place or Indigenous Services for Students website.
Rather than give you one exam that is worth 100% of your mark, most instructors will assess your knowledge and understanding several times throughout the term. Assessments may include essays, short quizzes, group projects, presentations, midterm tests, and final exams. You will need to manage your time well to produce these assignments and prepare for tests. When you are planning the schedule for your semester, make sure you allow enough time to prepare for all your classes. A quick tip: the learning centers at KPU provide great workshops on time management. They offer workshops for all students on study skills, time management, exam anxiety, and much more.
Students are expected to analyze and carefully consider the material presented in a course, as opposed to just simply memorizing information. There's an emphasis on gaining a strong understanding of concepts and using this knowledge to solve problems in tests, assignments, and projects. Your ideas are welcomed in classes at KPU, and articulating your ideas is part of the learning process. So don't hesitate to communicate your thoughts respectfully with your instructors and your peers.
Instructors will often encourage student participation by asking questions and by encouraging students to ask questions. Asking and answering questions can be very intimidating. However, there's no need to be afraid of answering or asking questions incorrectly. The important thing is that you are willing to participate. In some courses, part of your mark will be determined by your contributions to class discussion. If you feel uncomfortable participating in class, or if you need more clarification about a topic, do not hesitate to approach your instructor after class, or take time to meet your instructor during office hours. A helpful tip: when you do your reading before class, prepare a few questions that you can ask your instructor in the class.
The style of conversation in Canadian classrooms can be quite different from what many international students are used to. Generally, it is considered acceptable to join a conversation when there is a pause in the discussion. Or students can quietly raise their hand while someone else is speaking. This shows the instructor that you want to say something. It is important to remember that many people in Canada do not like to be interrupted and are generally not comfortable with more than one person talking at the same time.
The basic structure of a Canadian class is built around the principle of equality. So discrimination based on traits such as gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, class, or religion is not acceptable in classes at KPU. Instructors are expected to give all students an equal chance to share their opinions and participate in the classroom discussion. At the same time, students are expected to treat each other, as well as their instructors, with the same sense of equality and respect.
Sometimes you may be asked to work on an assignment, presentation, or project with a partner or with several of your classmates. Group work is meant to test your ability to communicate, share workload, and compromise with other members of your team. Speak up, share your opinions, discuss any problems or issues you have encountered, and ensure that you take on an equal share of the responsibilities. And as a helpful tip, if your instructor does not assign you to a certain partner or group, you may ask the students around you if you can join their group, or you can ask the instructor to assign you to a group or a partner.
Plagiarism is the practice of taking someone else's work, words, or ideas and passing them off as your own. When representing someone else's ideas in an assignment, you are expected to reference the source of the idea using the appropriate format. Copying assignments is considered plagiarism, and you will be penalized if you are caught copying another student's work. Even copying a few words or half a sentence is not allowed. When working in a group, you must be careful to not copy your teammates' work, because if you are required to hand in individual assignments, this would also count as plagiarism. Plagiarism is taken very seriously in the Canadian classroom. A quick tip: the KPU Library's Plagiarism Awareness Tutorial reviews the basics of good research and how to avoid plagiarism. It is very important that you complete this tutorial early in the term, before any other assignment is due. If you are unsure about whether you are referencing sources correctly, ask your instructor.
It's understandable that students want to achieve high grades, but trying to negotiate your final grade with your instructor is not acceptable at Canadian universities. Instead, you should check your grades often throughout the term, because if you're falling behind, you can ask your instructor what you can do to improve your grade.
Respectful behavior plays an important role in the Canadian learning environment. You should always make sure that you arrive to class on time. In Canada, on time means arriving 5 to 10 minutes before the scheduled start of the class. If you are late, enter the classroom as quietly as possible without disturbing the class. Repeated lateness will negatively impact your grades. While the class is in session, it is important to be attentive and listen to what the instructor is saying. Doing things that distract yourself or others around you, such as talking to your classmates in the middle of a lecture, looking at your phone, listening to music, or reading a book, is considered rude and should be avoided.
In Canada, 15 to 20% of the population has breathing problems. The chemicals found in scented products can affect conditions such as asthma, bronchitis, and allergies. Most classrooms and many university offices request that you refrain from using any perfumes, colognes, or scented aftershaves. However, it is important to maintain good hygiene, and the use of soap, deodorant, and other personal hygiene products are acceptable.
It can be challenging to study online, particularly for students who are new to a Canadian university. You might be in a different time zone. Wherever you are, studying online requires good organizational and time management skills. To succeed in online courses, you need to know how to access and use KPU Online Platforms, such as Moodle, Big Blue Button, Zoom, and Kaltura. Online courses have 3 distinct delivery modes. Synchronous courses, where class sessions occur primarily in real time and attendance is expected during scheduled classes. Asynchronous, where there are no required class times, but where students are still expected to follow the course presentation and submit assignments at set times. And hybrid courses, which are a mix of both approaches. During online courses, you should expect that you'll be invited to engage actively in online forums, group activities, and will be asked to share comments, perhaps in video, audio, or written responses. These are good ways to make connections and get to know your peers. Don't hesitate to participate. Both instructors and peers will appreciate your engagement.
For new students particularly, learning can sometimes be very lonely. International Student Advising offers many activities and services for international students, from social activities to peer mentors. In addition, KPU has a range of other professional staff whose jobs are focused on helping students in a range of ways. You can book times to meet with them online, and these include writing tutors, learning strategists, librarians, counselors, and online fitness at home groups. In addition, the Kwantlen Student Association hosts a range of student groups. If you feel overwhelmed, KPU provides mental health resources and support, including counseling that are completely confidential and free. Both instructors and International Student Advising can help you decide on a major and provide information about different careers related to your program. Take some time to visit your instructors after class and during office hours so they can get to know you better. Instructors are an excellent resource for getting insight about your program as well as helping you understand class material. At the start of each term, remember to check your documents to make sure they have not expired. Your International Academic Advisor can help you in renewing your study permit, work permit, temporary resident visas, and more. The study permit is the official document issued by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada that allows you to study in Canada. Remember to apply to extend your study permit within 3 months before it expires, and be sure your passport is valid. Applying for these documents can be a lengthy process, so be aware of the deadlines and the time it takes to process applications. Here's a tip. Immigration regulations change frequently. Check with Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada to prevent any problems with deadlines and regulations.
Volunteering is a very rewarding way to contribute to your KPU and local community and meet new people. And it is something that employers and graduate programs look at when evaluating your application. If you have a specific career path in mind, volunteering at KPU or any organization can be a very useful way to gain experience. Keep track of your voluntary hours and get letters of support or reference from the KPU department or the organizations where you volunteer.
Canadians have a reputation for being polite, but they also have a reputation for being reserved, which means not expressing thoughts and feelings directly or openly. Sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between being polite and being reserved, even for someone born and raised in Canada. The main thing to keep in mind is that most people in Canada appreciate the effort that it takes to be polite.
A.
Canadians often end sentences with A. Many studies have looked into this linguistic quirk. It is generally agreed that Canadians do this because they are polite. The A is an invitation for the listener to participate in the conversation as opposed to the speaker simply stating fact after fact.
Hydro.
A lot of electricity in Canada is generated from hydroelectric dams on rivers, which is why electricity is called hydro.
Keener.
Someone who is enthusiastic or eager to please. John is such a keener when it comes to school, eh?
Loony.
A term for the Canadian $1 coin, which is gold-colored and has a bird known as a loon on one side.
Nanaimo bars.
A chocolate and coconut dessert with butter icing named after the city of Nanaimo, BC.
Pop.
A general term for sugary carbonated beverages, for example, Coca-Cola.
Poutine.
A specialty food in the province of Quebec. It's French fries covered in cheese curds and gravy.
Toonie.
The Canadian $2 coin. It gets its name from the $1 coin, the loonie, and adds its value to form toonie.
Toque.
A kind of knitted wintertime hat.
Washroom.
This is a term used for what is called restroom, toilet, or lavatory elsewhere.
Weather conversations.
Virtually all conversation will include a brief discussion of the weather because it is such a dominant force in the lives of Canadians.
Z.
Canadians pronounce the last letter of the alphabet Z and not Z as people in the United States do.